you doing, lads and lasses? I'm that random Scot, and today we are somewhere completely different. Today you're going to be joining me in a nice little exploration exercise of the Fabrica. Now, this old abandoned factory is one that has been here for 150 years. There's not a lot of documentation on this place, so frankly I couldn't get that much information for you. Now, the point of this exercise being is my first little foray into doing an Urbex video. I've always loved watching them, and I figured why not bother trying to do it myself. We've got an old abandoned massive building here. This is just workers' quarters, which I will give you a little tour of in just a moment. So anyway, please join me on this adventure. Should be a good one. Okay, now we're gonna head in. Now this building, like I said before, is quite old. Like, the whole complex is ancient. Well, I'm not gonna say ancient because it's only 150 years old, but already you can completely see just how much nature has actually taken over the place already. Like, given that this whole area would have been like similar kind of concrete material to this, you know, bricked concrete, cemented in, all that kind of stuff, but now this palm tree that was probably once a garden decoration, like you can actually see around here, would have been where the little garden would have been. Fortunately now, it's all overgrown and completely unkempt. Now inside. Now, like most abandoned places you see, there is a lot of graffiti everywhere, which, I mean, I guess it gives it more of a post-apocalyptic feel, which I actually find quite interesting, to be honest. But as you can see, after all these years, there's not much left of anything around here. This building is a good example of the whole complex. And here, what would have been like multiple different rooms. You can actually gauge how this whole house looked by walking in, because you can see walls here, coming along here. This would have just been a corridor coming through here. See on the ground the gap in the bricks, a doorway going in there, access way into there, and then you come through here and you've got a tiled surface here, probably a dining room of some sort. Wise. Stay wise, friends. And now we would have come out to what would have been their backyard, their back garden, and well, as you can see, I think they've got to fire their gardener and hire a new one, because this place is completely overgrown. You can actually, if you look closely through the trees, you can see the big factory in the background. And now we come to what most likely was the kitchen. Why the kitchen, you say? It's just a very post-apocalyptic looking room. Oh, there's a better view of the backyard garden. But if you come over here, you can see whole surface area here tiled. That would have been a countertop surface. Over here you've got where the fridge, you know, storage would have been. You got your, well, you wouldn't have had a fridge 150 years ago, but this would have been like a pantry or a larder. You can see where the shelves would have been on each side there. And a general fireplace, because back in the day, traditional houses built in Spain all had fireplaces directly in the kitchen, because the kitchen was usually the centre of the house, or, you know, the heat from it would have gone all the way through. Little stoner guy there. Yeah, mate. What are you doing in my part of town? And coming through now to this side room, which, to be honest, I'm not sure what this room would have been. Probably bedrooms, or seems like someone burning a campfire in there some time ago. But that looks like more shelving unit areas. Oh. As you can see, this place hasn't been bought or sold in so long. The whole place is just falling apart. The main factory is actually quite dangerous, to be honest. We will head on and go check out the main factory now. Oh, got my backpack on. Came prepared, didn't I? So, moving on. We'll find out what the rest of this place looks like in just a bit. Coming down the hill. Just about to turn around and here it is. La Fabrica. Now, I don't quite think that was the original official name for it, but that's what everyone calls it now. This massive factory complex was a textile factory back in the day. One of the main exports of textiles to the entire province of Andalusia. I think it was actually in business right up until 1860, 1870, I'm not 100% sure. But the entire complex is so trashed and so old, it's really hard to tell how old it actually is. No real evidence and hardly any furniture evidence left behind. But before we go in there, we'll spin round. I know some of you probably would have been screaming like, "Oh, you missed the door! You missed the fucking door!" Right, well I'm in the door now. Into what essentially was before, most likely the groundskeeper's house. It's bigger than the ones that we just were in, having multiple rooms, 2 upstairs and 1 over there. I think most houses like these would have an upstairs bedroom count of 2, maybe a bathroom. We'll check it out in a minute. We can actually see and recognise as a kitchen, because if you notice, there is more evidence here because this house was not actually ruined to the point of complete unrecognition as we thought. Here we have a very old wicker basket. This thing's falling apart, I'm not going to touch it too much, but that's what the people back in the day would have used to carry food, grain. Nice view of the factory. Ah, lovely. Another lovely morning in Torres Costa. Here doing some filming. And I'm going out to the factory. You know, going off to work in the morning. Here we got where the sinks would have been. Very recognisable actually. You can still see the actual shape. The basin itself has been gone, but you can see where the pipework would have gone down the hole there. And like, the strange thing is, however, this one doesn't have a hole. So I reckon, given that the pipe only leads to that one, that would have been where you would have had your put your dirty dishes, and then cleaned them there, stack them up there. And over here we've got what looks to be a board of some sort. An old briefcase. Look at that, that's actually really interesting. It's an old leather briefcase, or some sort. It's massive though. Nothing in it, but old clasp. Oh, that's fascinating. Not gonna lie, that's actually really good, because that would have been here since the original. Oh, moving this out of the way so I don't trip over. But that would have been here since the original owner. Not bad. What have we got here? Yeah, only problem with that, get my hands bloody filthy. Look at that! It's a tile. Now these kind of tiles, these are quite modern to be fair, especially with that printing on the back. They didn't have that, they were all handmade back then. Because this whole area has been used as sort of general storage as well for a lot of people. But as you can see, modern day cement bags and stuff knocking about. Any work done in the place, this was a storage room. Now here, got these stairs that lead to, well, they don't lead to nowhere. They originally led right up there, but half the staircase is gone. Gotta be careful where I stand, this place is falling to shit, but I might be able to get you some angles of the upstairs. Should I stand on this to get up there? No. However, should I stand on it to get a good shot? Yes. Now, up here we have essentially, like I said, bedroom over there, most likely anyway. I feel like I'm gonna die. Then over here, got what seems to be a chill out area. Not quite sure. There's another bedroom over there, you can see. Right. In this area would have just been like a lounge or something, I suppose. Sorry I couldn't actually get up there, but I'm not risking my life for a YouTube video. Well, at least not until I got a few hundred subscribers first. But yeah, this whole place is crumbling. I mean, there was a series of earthquakes here back in January of last year, which would probably be the cause of most of this crumbling, to be fair, apart from the roof collapse in the main factory building, which I will get onto in a bit. Okay, so let's go this way. Apparently we can. Stepping over this wall to see the factory. Let's go inside, shall we? There's been so many people at this factory that, you know, over the years, like you can see the evidence with the graffiti. However, that does mean that everybody knows about this place and there is a chance. Prickly plants right there, got to be careful about that and be careful about running into anybody. But here we are as we step into the main factory building, in fact. You see a little hole in the roof right there. Whole setup of, like, this would have been about 3 floors worth. Like, every time you see bricks sticking out the wall that haven't been painted along, such as that, basically all those lines on each of the walls here is another floor. Especially apparent there, where you can see where the wooden beams would have gone to the wall to hold it up. This would have been massive back in the day. Like I said, this was one of the major exporting factories of textiles in the whole area, in the whole range. As we step through here on the lower level, we'll get up to that upper level in a bit. You can see stuff like this set up because quite often before they condemned the whole place, this place was actually used for airsoft rifle matches and paintballing, stuff like that. I mean, it works. It basically looks like a post-apocalyptic place, so it could really work for that kind of thing. Anyway, that's the missing roof area that I mentioned before. That, surprisingly enough, was caused by a meteor impact. Well, the evidence seems to point towards it. I'll explain that when I get around there to where the debris is. Now, there's a lot of these holes in the floor around here, which isn't necessarily because of, well, that one's because of wear and tear and such like, but this one, what this would have originally been is all the factory offshoots would have been washed down, washed out, outside somewhere, essentially destroyed and disposed of that way. It's another access point that's now been blocked off. Oh, someone's graffitied some anime. Animes are here, even in Spain. Oh, what is that? Oh dear. That's not good. Obviously there's been some bad people here at some point. Which is never a good thing to happen. Okay, let's move on. And here we are on the other side of where we originally were. This is with the impact site of the roof. And as you can see, this whole area, like, you have to back up to fully appreciate it, but as you can see, there's a central din in the ground, like a crater, and everything's just pushed up on each side. Now, either that was because of the sheer impact of the entire roof coming down, which is a high possibility, to be fair, but could have also been a meteor impact as well. be honest, I'll never really know. But yeah, in abandoned buildings, it's good to have some relatively decent heavy duty footwear. You do not want to be getting a rusty nail through your foot and getting a tetanus jab. That would be a terrible end to the movie. To your day in general. Now, here's the fun part. We've got to shimmy up here like we're in Legend of Zelda. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Got to be careful, the wood is fragile. Always keep my hand out so I can grab the wall as I get up. This is the kind of place where you don't need to pay millions of dollars or euros to make film quality sets. You already got it right here. How good is that? Now, I will admit, I have been here before. However, this kind of building is one of those that just has so much re-exploration value. Similar to a video game or a movie having rewatch and replay value, this kind of location can just be used so many different times. And, you know, like me, you'll still find new things that are going on. And frankly, I've always loved exploring abandoned places like this simply because it gives you a real feel of how people used to live. And it's almost like a time capsule. Places like these hold nothing but memories. Memories and a few examples and evidence of a life now not here. A factory that used to be bustling with business is now an empty shell of its former self. Alright, let's move on then. Seen all we can see in here, which isn't much. So let's move on and find something new.